All right, so hear me out.
Hear me out. Okay, let's go.
I think the standard intro genuinely just needs to be, I'm Jules, I'm Magpie. Together, we're Bunniichii, and then we just start talking.
See, I was thinking the same thing. However, I get one random bit of the audio so that then out of context it just sounds like the most insane thing. And I put that at the very beginning. I edit that in at the very beginning. And I was like, Julie, are you okay? I'm not okay.
Are any of us okay?
Never. I'm Jules.
Okay.
And
no, you're not.
And we're Bunniichii. What if I just put that together and then I say, I'm Magpie, and then overlay it?
I hate you. Hi, I'm Jules.
I'm Magpie.
Okay. All right, take.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Hi, I'm Jules.
I'm Magpie.
And together
we are Bunniichii!
Yay!
Yay, hooray!
So we went to NDK this year.
We did! Instead of San Japan.
First year at NDK.
First year at NDK.
Yeah, normally we went to San Japan. First year at NDK.
Yep.
Do you want to start off with your thoughts, maybe going over what you thought of the con in general before we get into comparisons?
Well, yes, that sounds like the very good, straightforward way of thinking. See, I was about to say we had.
I think it's the only straight thing about me.
Going in a straight way is very hard for me personally, so I don't know if I can follow through. But NDK makes me want to have squeakers in any undergarment at all times. This is the out of context tidbit. That's it. That's the joke. Thank you.
That's it. That's all I get.
No. Wait, we were going over what we thought and then overall experience?
Yeah, what did you think about NDK?
NDK reminded me of small conventions back in the late 2000s when everything was just starting off. Like, yeah, conventions and like weaves, we were around for a while beforehand, but it encapsulated that perfect little bit of we're all just a bunch of weirdos and we all like this one niche thing. Chill vibe, yet very intimate. Like, you're still not going to know everyone that's there, obviously, because it's a big event. But being able to feel relaxed and at ease in such an atmosphere, at least for me, it's been a hot minute since I've had that feeling. And this might sound like a hot take. I know we've talked about it privately. But it made me enjoy cosplaying in conventions again. It had that
I know the last few cons that we went to, you did not have a nice time.
Yeah, and I feel like it's definitely something we'll at least talk about at another point, like from a quote-unquote, since technically we've been paid to do cosplay gigs before, doing like the whole professional cosplay.
Semi-professional cosplay.
Like, I feel like we'll talk about that at some point, but it's not that it soured my take on conventions, but more the reception and this type of competitiveness in other areas.
Yeah.
And it just might be the Texas convention scene, but it was what I've been missing.
I do know that Texas cosplayers are built different.
They are. But what would I know? I'm just a little guy from New York. Hey, I'm walking here.
Anyways. No, I really liked NDK. So we ended up going to this con because I moved to Colorado. Obviously, you know this.
You escaped.
And it was a lot cheaper for me to go to this con because it's just, a 20-minute drive from the house. So that's step number one. San Japan has just gotten too expensive. And, I know there are ways to make it cheaper. Like, if you shove 8 cosplayers in a hotel room.
I am a grown-ass
don't
adult.
Eat food.
I will not do that. I will abstain from food while in costume, but I will not room with 8 people. I can't do it. I need space.
Well, yeah, but you abstain from food and cosplay because you don't want to get your costume dirty.
And that's what we tell everyone else.
What if you're eating a hot dog and you get ketchup on it?
Exactly.
You're gonna die.
What if I drink some tea or coffee and it spills on my clothes? I'm done for. I can no longer be a semi-professional cosplayer. Horrible.
Now you're just a fully professional cosplayer. To make my point, though, I know there are ways that you can make it cheaper, but I am too bougie for that. I refuse to room with more than 2 other human beings at this point. Cosplay takes up a lot of space.
It's true.
I like to take my time. Not the last few times we've roomed with people, but that one really bad time we roomed with people,
Akon
lives rent free in my head and not in a good way. So it being close to home was nice. And the community, this was the first real Colorado con I got to go to. Everyone was so nice. Everyone was very welcoming. We were able to just strike up conversations with strangers. And one thing that I think we pointed out in the moment, because I think we were planning on, doing cute little vlog content a la Deja Vu D because we missed her vlogs and we wanted to do it, right?
It's true.
We ended up not doing that, and I feel in part it was because no one else was.
Mm-hmm.
And so it felt strange to do it.
Yes.
There weren't people filming everything. There weren't people standing in the halls doing TikToks. Photos were really relegated to photo areas.
And it was a whole hall with, obviously you could go around
Little
the hotel,
setups, yeah.
right? But there was a very specific themed area, which I would even say is nicer than what I've seen at some Texas conventions. This whole, what would you say? Almost like a wedding hall sized area. Kind just of, had solid, different themed backgrounds, but not the selfie gallery type places that you can rent out for whatever amount of time, but solid sets. Mm-hmm. If I was talking to you, I'd be like, oh, hey, look, someone probably did a quick short film in these different sets. They felt like they were lived in and they're very solid.
You even said to me on Sunday, because we were doing Bunniichii photos.
Oh, yeah.
You said to me, we could always go into that hall and see if we can get some shots. We ended up not doing it because we ran out of time. But it came up in conversation of we could go get pictures in these environments.
And at least for us, I think
that's good.
Yeah. I think it's also telling for us because we're solidly if you can't do it right, if you can't do it good, unless we're actually planning for it to be a goof. Yeah, don't do it. And very rarely will Jules be the... I am going to be the one that's more rooting for something that's trash. But Bunniichii is serious.
That's true.
Bunniichii is serious. I sold you on this concept. And I will be nice about it.
So,
to keep it running.
Getting back onto topic. We both really enjoyed NDK. Would you agree with this sentence?
Yes. They let me talk about horror movies, so I love them.
Friday. What happened?
I cosplayed being a Vocaloid cosplayer and didn't do many Twilight references.
Wait, hold on. Are you saying you didn't cosplay Miku? You cosplayed a Vocaloid cosplayer.
Yes.
Okay.
For Miku's birthday.
All right. Nope. Day before.
The day before.
You cosplayed Miku the day before.
Vampire Miku. What happened? Friday, we got badges. found
because the con started pretty late, admittedly.
It was,
so
opening
I don't
ceremonies was
remember
at
what time.
5. Yeah, ceremonies was at 5.
Yeah, we got there around 4-ish, and went to the dealer's hall. So we skipped opening ceremonies.
It's true.
I don't remember what time San Japan starts, but I do vividly remember always being in costume and ready to go at 8 in the morning.
Well, they have
Friday at San Japan.
Like Thursday isn't opening ceremonies, but that's when they technically open. It's like the day 0. They're starting to have the day 0. I believe, at least in the past, San Japan opening ceremonies were like at 10 or 11 a.m. Like relatively early in the day, so that then, because like it's about
Friday's
6
a
or
full
7.
day.
Friday's a full day, and it's like at 6 or 7 p.m. that they do the masquerade ball, or the charity ball, and then later on in the night they'll do the rave. But no, it's like San Japan has become like Dragon Con, which if you know me, if I ever talk to you in person and you ask me about Dragon Con, I love that Dragon Con gives me access to puppetry and Jim Henson Studios, and that I got to see Robert Englund and do a whole Nightmare on Elm Street cast meetup. That was great, but other than that, horrible. Too much going on, too many lines. You can't move at Dragon Con. And that's like...
Since I have never been, I'll take your word for it.
Everything is so suffocating, and you just can't move. It's become one of those... not nepotism. It's not nepotism. It's one of those kind of... There's a word, and I don't know the word on my head.
Good for you.
Thank you.
So Friday we showed up around 4. We woke up. I made cinnamon rolls for breakfast.
It was delicious.
We took the dog on a walk. We had some muffins. We carbo loaded for cosplay. Carbo load for cosplay. There's a t-shirt.
And that was your day 1.
Situation.
That was your day 1 of pigtail wigs.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, so you were cosplaying someone cosplaying Miku.
Yes.
And I was Anne Halford from Sugar Apple Fairy Tale because I wanted to take that costume on a test run. We can review our costumes in its own segment.
Yay.
But linearly, we went to the parking lot because I was informed ahead of time on Instagram that parking was always full up day 1 at NDK. So we went to that little parking lot, U.S. Airport, and they had a shuttle system. You were supposed to have to pay $15 not to get to the convention, but to get back. We did that exactly once, and then they never checked our ticket again. It was great. So we met 2 lovely people in the parking lot. What a sentence. Who ended up being buddies through the weekend.
Hey, friends.
And we got to the con, and I remember there was this moment where we were going to go pick up our tickets because they didn't have ticket mail options. And we saw the line coming out of the room where you go pick up the tickets, and you and I looked at each other
Immediate horror.
Like, audibly said, oh no. And then we rounded the corner, looked, and the line was like 20 people.
Like I think that was the first time the weekend I had been like struck like silent. Very rarely am I true quiet, like shock, surprise, silent. That was one of that moments. I was like, what?
Yeah, it was like 20 people in line to pick up badges, and there were 3 or 4 people handing them out. Super smooth. You walk up, they look at your phone, they hand you a badge, you go on with your life. Prop check, there was no line ever. We saw security, like con staff on the floor and in the hall, who, if they saw you with a prop that hadn't been checked, they would just check it right there. Like, they had the stuff on them to do it. And let me tell you, that's awesome.
Especially, I think we really began to be more conscientious of the prop check and everything after, at least for me, it was after HaltMat, when there was this whole scare of someone bringing in like actual weapons.
The gun issue.
Yeah, the gun issue, which won't go
The gun
into, but
incident.
the gun
That's a
incident.
casual conversation.
I think I've solidly put that into casual conversation probably too many times for it to be not something of concern, but it's fine.
So then we hit up the dealer's hall, which slapped. The artist alley I really, really, really enjoyed because, and you said it first that weekend.
What did I do?
I was able to see things.
Yes.
There weren't so many people that I felt that I had to be constantly walking or I was in the way.
Yes.
And that was awesome. I could move there, like you could stand 4 to 5 people shoulder to shoulder across.
Yep.
And that's how wide apart the booths were for aisles. And it was great.
And it was solidly, like, easily accessible for anyone regardless of ability. And if you require, like, a mobility aid or something, because there was quite a few times throughout the weekend.
We saw people with mobility aids.
Yeah. Like, I think there was one time where I saw someone who, like, several people that were in the same aisle on mobility aids, and I was just like, sick. Everyone can be in here all at once.
They could each other. It wasn't an issue.
It was fantastic, and I loved that.
Yeah. I don't think we did much on Friday.
We looked at a lot of
went
things.
To a panel.
Yeah.
We took some photos.
Yeah.
That was enjoyable. I really
we did a circle. We did a circle. What's it called? We did a ring around the rosy outside. That was wonderful.
We did do that. That was enjoyable.
Yeah. Ring around the rosy. Looked at a fireplace. Celebrated our friend anniversary.
Watched the sunset along the mountains while holding hands.
It was very romantic beginning of our friendship anniversary weekend. Should we put that into it being part of the expectation that this is Labor Day weekend, right? Labor Day weekend.
Yes, it was Labor Day weekend.
Is our friendship anniversary in 2020.
4 years, baby.
4 years. In 2020, Sandra Pan cemented us being best friends. And so every Labor Day since then, we're typically at a con. And we celebrate our friend anniversary together. And then we get more and more gay each year, baby. Let's go.
I'm a little scared of what next year will bring at this point.
Rick O'Connell and Evie.
Shoot, you're right. NDK is located in the Rockies Gaylord in Aurora, Colorado. And we have also been to a Gaylord convention in Texas that will not be named at this moment in time.
It gives me chills.
We'll name and shame later.
That's another time.
But we went to that one, and I remember looking at you and going, oh my God, this is just the San Antonio River Walk in Dallas.
Yes, because
that
was so
is Texas theme. Everyone was ready for this to be the KatsuCon of Texas because Katsu is known for its beautiful venues, and it was so yeehaw. And then we came to this one, and I really liked the venue. I think it was gorgeous. I think we got some really cool pictures. I think you can do some very elegant photos. I think you could do rustic photos. Like anything that's like fantasy or D&D related is going to be eating.
I think
here.
Very much so.
Dungeon Meshi is ready.
It gave me the vibes of like an old hunting lodge, that kind of deal with
but like in a good way.
But in a good way.
Like a rich person.
Yeah.
Rich person hunting lodge.
Like a bougie person hunting lodge.
Oh yeah.
Like I was about to give a very specific reference, but I realized very quickly I was like, no one's gonna know what Bugaboo Creek is. It's a restaurant.
Put a picture up. Everyone will know.
No one's gonna know. But I like the idea that they will, so I will do that in post. Boom.
So we took pictures. We watched the sunset. We held hands. We listened to some live music. Another thing that we noticed during this time is that there was this grassy green common area outside, still, on the premises.
Yep.
where there was the live music playing, there were trees with lights in them, there were fire pits, and you had cosplayers. There was a Miku group doing photos, and they were very respectful. They were nice and quiet, but still having fun. They weren't making it everyone's business. There was a Final Fantasy group in the corner doing the same thing, and some cosplayers just hanging out, us included. And then there was a bunch of normies and families, and no one cared, and no one bothered one another. Like, everyone coexisted, and you do not see that in Texas.
No, it was really nice to see, because I mean, even when we went to MomoCon, and I'm not gonna, the other cons, I'm not gonna align with that list, but there was just such a big differentiation on the scale. Like, cosplayers are annoying, and we're just fully...
at MomoCon, I remember the mermaid photo shoot where people were just staring at us like we were
voyeurism to the max. It's either cosplayers are being annoying, and
people were filming us.
I didn't realize that they were actively filming us. I knew that some people were taking pictures. But that's neither here nor there. But I liked how it was this solid coexistence. If you see San Japan and MomoCon is Jurassic Park, NDK was Dinotopia, where dinosaurs and humans live in perfect harmony, aka cosplayers and normies live in perfect harmony, not harming each other's vibes. They're just chilling.
It's true.
Yep.
So that wraps up Friday, because we came home and vibed for a bit and then went to bed.
Yep.
Saturday we had another late start to the day. And let me tell you, as someone who is approaching the big 3-0, not immediately waking up at 7 in the morning after staying out till 2 and then getting immediately into costume with contacts and wigs and shoes and shapewear is amazing.
See, I was too excited.
It is so
I was
nice.
so excited, though, for Saturday.
But you were also being Tamaki.
Yeah, it was my 15-year cosplay anniversary, and I was redoing the one that started it all.
An uncomfortable costume.
And I was getting ready for my panel that was at 9 p.m. because I wasn't ready.
That you hadn't finished.
That is correct.
So Saturday rolls around, we wake up, we get some coffee in our system, you work on your panel, I walk the dog, and then we got ready. That day you were Tamaki Suo.
I was.
You were the king, my prince.
I was king. Yeah, the sad prince.
I was a sad elf girl.
We were sad together. Oh.
I was Frieren from Beyond Journey's End. And we went to the con, and we got there at like 4 again, and it was great.
For me, it threw me off.
Because once again, stay in Japan, we were there all day.
For me, though, it was even before we'd start staying at the hotel for San Japan, because I don't think I even did that until 2020, when it was like our first year together.
Really? I didn't know that.
Because I lived in the hill country, so it was just like a solid 45-minute drive. Like, I was essentially an hour away from San Antonio, so it made sense to take a drive. I could go home, have food, not have to pay for all that extra stuff. But but even if I drove from home to the convention center, by the time I got there, it would be 11 a.m. Like, everything's just starting to get going. For me, going to a convention past 1 p.m. was already like,
that was a little wild.
I was not ready. Because even when...
That was a little wild.
For me, I was just like, noon? Oh my gosh, why aren't we there yet? But also, I have to finish my presentation.
I mean, the other thing to keep in mind is the reason, as you know, why we went so late is because I have a dog.
Yeah.
And we can't leave her, alone for more than 8 hours.
She's just a baby.
Had a late night panel.
Yeah. She's a baby. She's just a baby. Oh.
So that's why we went so late. You had a bunch of roses to give out, so we showed up to the con.
Because it was Miku's birthday.
The bus system was still working great. on Saturday. I had no issues with it
I had no issues.
at all. We show up to the con. It's bustling, but it's still not overwhelming. At least it wasn't for me.
I would agree. It wasn't for me either.
You had roses to give out, and it was his birthday, so you targeted all of the Mikus.
My favorite Miku was the one that didn't know it was Miku's birthday, but it was also their birthday, so they were a bit concerned.
Yeah.
They were concerned I knew their birthday.
How did you know it's my birthday?
I was like, it's Miku's birthday. I was like, it's your birthday?
It's Miku's birthday.
And they were just like, happy birthday! That was funny. So funny.
I did want to go see Tekka's panel, but I got there too late. It's fine.
Yep.
We went to the dealer's hall again.
Ooh, there was I just wanted to say about the one super cool artist booth that was there. Yeah. The one, so if you don't know me, I really like horror films and just horror media as a whole.
This booth.
Yeah. And there was just so many talented artists in the artist alley that were selling original and even just like original art pieces of popular horror media franchises. But there was one, I believe, yes, it was Sea Rift. And she had so many cool ass horror, like both prints and sticker sheets and charms and keychains.
You're gonna have to put a picture of that keychain I got you.
Of course I'm going to show a picture of the photo card checky holder of my bias of Ghostface, both Matthew Lillard and the other one. And then also she even had like a sticker sheet.
So much.
It's Matthew Lillard. He's Shaggy. It's the Scooby-Doo and Scream crossover that no one asked for. But then also like a Rule of Rose. Rule of Rose sticker sheet. No one talks about Rule of Rose. I love Rule of Rose.
I know you do. There's also some Mass Effect stuff there that I really enjoyed seeing as a Mass Effect fan.
Also Princess Tutu. Very great.
Lots of Princess Tutu. Lots of Oron.
Lots of Oron. I essentially found out that my people are in Colorado and I have to escape Texas ASAP to move there.
Well, you already knew that you had to do that.
I know, but now there's more motivation.
Saturday.
Yes.
I think, was Saturday also the day that we went to the 18 plus section?
Yes, because
Sunday?
No, Saturday was it because we both had the 18 plus wristband because my panels was 18 plus. Quick aside, I really liked how they did the 18 plus identification. Because I know San Japan is always a bit blurry on if they maintain that expectation or not, on like checking IDs and everything. And same goes for a few other Texas cons.
And the con that we won't name was also really horrific about doing 18 plus things.
Yeah. But NDK was so solid. Like the reason why they wanted the wristbands flush against the people's skin wasn't so that it'd be uncomfortable, but it was so that then they wouldn't be transferred to other people. So that then it was definitely on your person at any one time. And even if, because like when we were in my panel, I heard the staff talking to people that are coming through. It's like, show us your wrists. We need to see your wristbands before coming in. And that to me made me very happy. Like I didn't really talk about a lot of things that would have not been.
You just wanted to be able to swear without getting in trouble.
It's true, because I know me. I covered my bases.
So we're not really complete degenerates, but we did want to go check out the 18 plus section.
I should have gotten that screen body bag.
I wanted to go. You should have.
I should have.
I should have bought you the titty mouse pad.
Watch.
Anyway, we've had issues with cons in the past of them calling themselves family friendly and then having explicit material on the con floor, and so for me, it was very, very nice that they did have the sectioned off 18 plus section. They checked your wristband before you went in, and if you didn't have a wristband, you could show your ID and get one there.
So it wasn't even that big of an inconvenience. If you didn't have it, they'd be like, okay, cool. Well, ID first, then you can go in. And I think that also really helped. Right there. Yeah, I think that also really helped with that stream flow and ensuring that everyone that could be there, and there wasn't any working around it. All of the staff was solidly on top of it, and I can't sing the praises for NDK staff enough. They were amazing.
They were wonderful. The 18 plus section was pretty standard in my opinion, save for that one booth. You had a whole bunch of titties of all genders. You had a whole bunch of genitalia of all genders. And then you had Ghostface. The one booth that we really liked where they had
Ghostface.
Slutty Ghostface.
We could have gotten the Tata mouse pad of Ghostface. We could have gotten Ghostface with the Ghostface with the mask on, but then totally shirtless. I think he had a body harness and like had to like sell sleepover party. What's your favorite scary movie?
Pink background. It was the pink background. It was all like the little like hearts, like the pink hearts around him. That's what sold me. It was so good.
The part that got to me too was like the pink, but the way that he was drawn with like the smushing the man titties together. It's like, what's your favorite scary movie? Oh my gosh.
Oh, he was 100% hitting on you.
Oh, absolutely.
100%.
100%. I would have taken the bait. I've been like, yes. Please kill me. That'd be great.
I liked the 18 plus section, and the vibes there were good. Like it wasn't obviously like it wasn't creepy or anything. Everyone was super chill. Everyone was very nice. I loved Slutty Ghostface so much. My only regret is not buying that mouse pad for you.
See, I would have just been like, why not the bag? The bag.
Because you would have gotten the bag if we went back.
You're right. Oh yeah, that was our whole plan. We never went back. It wasn't meant to be.
Next time.
Ghost Daddy did not want to come home this time. He wanted to stay out.
Ghost Daddy.
It's Ghost Daddy.
Ghost Daddy.
Ghost Daddy.
So then I remember what happened next. The boys were still shopping. So we went and made friends with some random people in the hall.
With a Luffy
because you were giving roses away.
Yes. And Asterion. Not
there was a Luffy and an Asterion who
not the peak romantic interest. Wait, why didn't we see any of the pirates?
So get us canceled.
I want my pirate boy.
Oh, Will.
Yes, that one.
No, he's not a pirate.
He looks like a pirate.
And it was that moment again of feeling like you could just approach anyone and have a conversation.
Yeah, we probably talked to that I know I talked to the Luffy. Yeah, I talked to the Luffy cosplayer for at least a solid 20 minutes because we were talking about first we went to Oron, then we're talking about K-pop and idols, and then they told me about a few really cool music-based conventions and ones that specialize with Japanese sub-fashions as well as idols, and I was just like, ooh, why have I not heard of this one before? So Julie, in the next few years, we have to go to this Las Vegas convention because they bring visual kei artists and a lot of Lolita fashion people go there. And
you know me, baby, I'm right.
I was just like, I heard about it. I was like, oh, we gotta go. And then Asterion.
We had some really lackluster ramen.
Oh, see, yours was lackluster. Mine was horrific. It was so over.
We had
seasoned.
Some not great ramen.
It was sweet and then salty and then weird.
Michael took all of our purchases back to the car, and then you and I went to go do photos where we ran into our friends from Friday.
Our friends!
And you went completely manic.
Always.
100% manic. It was kind of horrifying. I haven't seen you like that in a very long time.
Wait.
But we did manage to rein you in enough to get some photos of your Tamaki because you wanted some, and I think we took some that really slapped. Just saying.
I agree.
Insert
photos here. Bloop.
Ooh.
Wow. It's King.
We hung out with our friends a little bit more, and then we went to go do your panel, Maggie.
Wait, I do feel like we have to insert that the use of the word manic is used in the best of ways, right?
Manic, like parentheses positive.
There we go. I was just like, wait. People might not know.
Manic parentheses positive. So then we went to go deal with your panel. And what happened?
So when we got there, we did the whole check-in process. Staff told us that the panel that was going on earlier was running a bit over, so since there was like a 30-minute block after mine that was just blank, they asked if it was okay, if like the previous panel could just keep going a tiny bit more so they could have their full time, and then they'd let me bleed into the other time slot. And I was like, yeah, that's cool, whatever. That sounds very what was it? Nonchalant. It's more of a
because cool. There were 30 minutes of dead air after your panel.
So I took that 30 minutes. It was mine. Yes. So this was the first time I had hosted this panel. It had been something that I'd been thinking about for a while.
Maggie?
Yes?
My love?
Yes.
What panel was it?
I was just... You're right. Thank you for reminding me.
Because I gotta start there.
Right. Just like at the panel where I don't introduce myself. On Saturday, I held a panel called Spirits in the Static, an introspective look on Japanese horror and fear of the other. It was a lot of I would like to think it was a lot of insight towards late 90s and early 2000s Japanese horror, both those that initiated the Japanese horror wave over in the West, as well as focusing on some lesser-known films that you wouldn't really know unless you know someone, and kind of educating people on how to analyze specific themes and why they're integral to filmmaking process and storytelling. That was the first time I had done that panel, and something that I've been wanting to do for a while, especially since, like Julie, you already let me talk to you during your crafting sessions about any horror film that I've been very passionate about. And it's very... People who enjoy film, unless you have had some sort of educational literacy or access to someone who can give you that information, you might not necessarily have that media literacy to be able to analyze and just to get a deeper understanding of film. And especially since horror is already seen as a pretty much just schlock, write it off type of genre, I like to educate where I can, especially since Japanese horror there's so much stuff that you can get into on it. It was great. But yeah, that was the first time. It's not the first panel that I've done by myself, but it was the first one that I was truly passionate about, I think. Even the one at Idolfest, like, it's not that I did it out of commitment, but it wasn't the best, if that makes sense. I don't know if you would concur with that statement, but to me, it felt like I had such a wide...
I think so when we went to Northwest Idol Fest, because we were guests and judges, we were contractually obligated to host a panel each.
Yes.
And I think because we had to stick within a certain theming, that everyone had to stick within, it was a matter of finding something that fit that didn't have a lot of overlap.
Yes.
And I think that's why, while what you did for your panel, it was something about being an idol, like stage presence.
Yeah, it was talking about stage presence.
Well, I think it was a very good panel.
Thanks, I tried.
And I think a lot of people took a bunch away from it. I think inherently the fact that you only had so much you can do kind of stifled you because you are someone who likes weirder things. But let's face it, you would not be able to do a horror themed panel at an idol convention.
Hear me out. No, you're absolutely right. I could not do a horror themed panel at an idol convention. There would be no one. It's not for anyone there. But I loved being able to do the whole thing. It felt very validating receiving all the feedback, and especially when you told me later on, because I did see some people on like their devices and tablets, and I was just like, they're probably just vibing, doing whatever. When you told me that they were like actively taking notes, and for a whole slew of people to stay during like the Q&A portion, to just have an open-ended discussion and ask me on my thoughts for different forms of horror, like video games and manga and everything, I was just like, oh my gosh, I feel so validated in that I kind of maybe know something about this genre. And I felt not cool, but I was just like, people think I know something and that maybe I'm smart. This is great.
Yeah, no, there weren't a ton of people who showed up. There were maybe 30?
I'd say initially it was like about 40. Some people would leave and then some people would come back. But yeah, it wasn't that large of a panel, but I also expected that.
But the people who were there were very interested.
Yeah.
They were invested.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's the biggest take.
Your jokes went over well.
Thank you. I know my
audience.
People
were actively paying attention.
Yeah. And
I think it was a very good panel. The staff was great.
Yes.
Again.
Staff was fantastic.
Because we had audio issues.
Yes. And so we had we had technical issues prior to the panel starting. Staff came in, helped out a lot, and that was super, that was just so wonderful to have. Because we haven't had that in the past.
They were easy to get in contact with.
Mm-hmm.
They were right there.
Yeah.
We could just pop our head on and say help.
Yeah. And then halfway through the panel, there was a few more technical issues. It wasn't just the audio. We lost the visual.
The HDMI cable.
Yes.
Yeah.
We lost visuals because already we didn't
who were there
have
before us had issues.
Yeah, because we already didn't really have good audio. Whatever audio there was coming from the very, very, very small projectors.
Mm-hmm.
So thankfully there was subtitles on all the video clips. But my sound design...
we started out no mic, no audio, no visual.
I was fully committed to just yelling and being really loud, which wouldn't have been hard anyways. But hey, since staff were
everyone
helpful...
come sit in the first 3 rows.
But I was gonna straight up walk around. I had no qualms. But because staff was able to help, I didn't have to talk super loud, and I got to sit down with a mic.
Oh, too powerful.
Too powerful. Me without a wired mic? Ugh, too powerful. I'll go anywhere.
Too powerful.
Too powerful.
We did your panel.
Yep.
You had a great time. You had people actively asking you if you were getting into filmmaking.
And I was just like, oh. And then Julie, you were like, yes, she's working on 2 scripts, 2 screenplays, and I was just like,
she's working on 2 screenplays.
I was like,
one of which is this found footage that she's been doing. And you're like, oh shit.
I was like, oh no,
she remembers.
Oh no, the commitment. Oh, by the way, we'll have to talk about that later because I thought of something. I had an idea, but not for now.
Dangerous. I love it.
Thank you.
And then we went and we met up with Ben, who was the other person who went to the con with us. He had gone to a 18+ con horror stories, which, according to him, was mostly women telling stories about getting sexually harassed or groped in cosplay. And yeah, that's a word.
Yep.
I hate that that's such a common thing that we don't even flinch when we hear that.
I thought about that when he said it, and I was just like, So the norm then, and it's just like, wait, hold on,
Yeah,
step back.
I know, I heard it too. I was like, oh yeah, no, I have stories.
Yeah. It was just like, oh no, this is a horror story.
Oh, God. And then we went home and
We got custard.
We got some custard. And we got people yelled at custard. It was a mess. It was not our fault.
It was
I
perfect.
want to make that very clear. They made the wrong order, and we said that we already had an item, and the manager was like, why the hell are we making more of this thing we already have? And we were like, no.
Oh, I was living for it.
And
I
then we
wanted
got
more.
to pet the baby.
Yes. And
then we went to sleep.
No. We made bead bags.
Oh shoot, I forgot about that. Yeah,
I
we
did
finished
not.
prepping for our idol panel.
And before you ask, people at home, no, it is not a common occurrence that Jules is behind schedule on getting things done. The common occurrence is that I do things last minute. And time says all done.
Yeah.
And time says all done.
All done.
All done. Fish.
So we made like 65 extra bead bags that we didn't need to make, but it's fine. Now we have them for our next idol showcase.
Let's go.
And then we went to bed.
Very productive.
We could not get there at 4 p.m. on Sunday because the con closed at like 6.
Yes.
And our panel was at 1:30, and we wanted to do some shopping. You'll notice that we have gone shopping every day, which I do not do at San Japan.
Yeah, no, I don't think we've ever done shopping every day of any convention.
Normally we do one day, and then we do a quick glance on Sunday to see if there are any deals.
Yeah. That is.
I hear Pip.
Yeah, no, Pip is straight up lapping up this water.
Good for Pippi.
What a queen! Hydrated.
What a queen.
Smelled up.
Sunday, who were we?
We were Bunniichii, the seniors of blank university. And because it's our last year and there's no new recruits, we have to find new idols to fill up our school idol club. Otherwise, the university's chair and CEO are going to shut the club down. Oh
no. Boo. Bunniichii is an idol duo concept, Maggie, that you came up with and sold me on.
Yes, with a variety duo.
And I'm now way too invested in it. It's wonderful, and I love it very much. The first time we ran this was at MomoCon this year, and we had a good number of people. We had about 80 people show up.
Yeah, it was 80 people.
For like a Friday morning event.
Was it Friday morning or was it like Sunday? It was a weird day.
It was a day that I didn't expect a lot of people to come.
Yeah.
Obviously at NDK it was on Sunday. We was at 1:30 p.m.
Yep.
We only had about 30 people show up.
Initially.
I think that was a good. And then Mags got more people to come.
I bullied people.
In the dance hall, so we had a bunch of space, which was very nice. And I before we get sappy, Sunday we get into Bunniichii. Cute.
We are so cute.
We show up, we roll up for the con,
yeah.
and we go and buy a whole bunch of stuff. We bought T-shirts and plushies.
Every year we have to have every year we have to get our matching T-shirts.
We got to.
We got to.
And you got some really cute enamel pins.
Oh, I got some more spooky things.
Then we got some questionable food. Again, the food not great, but that's okay. Mostly we ate at my house, and my food is awesome.
Yes, your food is wonderful. I did have a nightmare.
Questionable.
I did have a nightmare about that food truck food though last night, for real. I was just like, the hot sauce haunts my dreams.
I'm really sorry. Pink food truck rating out of 10. I don't know. I'll give it a 3. It didn't give me food poisoning.
I give it a 2.
Did it give you food poisoning?
It has turned me off of vinegar-based hot sauces, and also when a veggie bowl is typically sold, I expect something a bit more than just all the sides on top of some sad rice.
Yeah, and it was the same price. Okay, so
yeah. No, it was the veggie bowl was more expensive.
If you see a pink food truck that does Mexican food,
yeah,
don't eat it.
Don't eat it. The guys,
they
were
know
great.
What you should eat. Don't eat that. Very nice people. Don't eat it.
But also, they gave out the wrong food too, that's why I'm putting it at a 2. That's why I put it at a 2. If someone's doing veggie,
no, that makes sense. That makes sense.
I'm just like, ooh. Thankfully.
I understand your concern now.
Yeah. So I almost got food poisoning.
We shopped. We ate some questionable food, and then we went and did our panel.
Yep.
The premise of this panel, as Mag said, is we're at a school club. We're the last 2 members.
Oh no!
We need more members, so
oh
no!
Oh no!
So we sort everyone into subunits, groups of 3 to 5.
Yes.
We hand out bracelet making supplies and tell everyone to make friendship bracelets, preferably for one another.
Yes.
Come up with subunit names, and then we do an announcement where everyone gets to come up and announce their subunits. And then, Max, you teach a dance.
Yes, I do.
What did you teach?
I taught the choreography from the chorus version of Dance with Minotaurus, a song from the B-side of Aqua's 4th single, Me Taiken Horizon. It's an unknown bop. It slaps, and it's very cute, and it's also easy to learn. Also, accessible for anyone. Ha ha ha. Good hand choreo goes a long way. Boom.
Yeah. I do think we try to be mindful about typically inclusion in all degrees when we run this panel.
Yes.
We're mindful about accessibility, we're mindful about gender, and having everyone respect one another in both of those regards.
Agreed.
I like running this panel because it is fun to see people come in and be very nervous, and then watch them immediately open up and buy into the idea once we start, the act.
Yeah.
As it were.
I think no one's as open to it until we start going over the top. Because when it starts, we're still somewhat our personalities, like us. But when the act starts going, it's straight up, we are in an idol anime episode. Day 1, let's go.
And you were all the main characters in an idol anime.
Yes. And that to me is something so fun, because like when you're younger, or if there's any one type of medium that you really enjoy, you're like, oh man, I wish I could be in that for a day. And I think that's when we started, when we finalized the Bunniichii concept, and we started talking about something that we would like to do. We're like, this would be a fun idea. And I forget what we did, but I remember us talking, and I was like, starting today, you're a school idol. Just like saying really silly, over the top, like light novel length.
We were being memes.
Yeah. And so this whole great panel started from a meme, and then we kept going. Essentially, the takeaway is that bits, you should always run with them.
I think the one thing in particular that we did when coming up with the concept of this panel was specifically, we've seen what other idols do.
Yeah.
And this is going to sound really awful, but I'm an awful person, so it
fits
my brand. A lot of idols focus on themselves.
Yes.
And the draw is their name, and you watching them be the main character. And we went at this from, what can we do to make everyone else the main character?
And
the panel isn't about us.
Yeah,
we are there to facilitate.
Yeah, we are the side characters. We are the NPCs to help guide you through your journey.
Yeah,
And
we give the quest.
You can sound like a bad person, but I can be the one who says it. Like on Idols, whenever they do stuff, it's typically centered around themselves because I've done it. I still do the bit.
Yeah.
So, me. I get to call the pot. I am the pot calling the kettle black. Yes.
Nailed it.
Thank you.
But like the entire draw of the panel isn't come watch this Kai Guy idol do a dance. Come listen to this semi-professional cosplayer talk about sewing. It's come be a school idol.
It is the full LARP experience. Just a fully immersive hour to hour and a half of your time where you get to fulfill those dreams. Because not everyone likes to be on stage, but maybe they want to have that little bit of a time where they are indulging that inner fantasy, you know?
It's me. I'm the target audience.
Yes. Or if someone's like, no, this would be a good bit, but it's too cringy to do. Hey, yo, shout out to Milkmaids, my favorite idol trio.
Oh, please tell the story.
Okay.
How did we get the Milkmaids?
So we got the Milkmaids because it was when we had just started, like we were maybe 10, 12 minutes into the panel, and it's like a huge ballroom and not many people. So you went out to go get...
We gotta fill it.
You went out to try and get some people, you came back, and then it was like, all right, it's my turn. I have to bust out of my shell. I'm going to try and find people. Did I run out of the room? I feel like this checks out. I remember I went outside.
Standard Maggie activity.
Very standard. There is no walk. But I remember went out and I was like trying to convince people, but not telling them exactly what it was. I did see some Love Live cosplayers and I was like, hey, do you guys want to be idols? Do you like Love Live? And they're like, what? Because they were across the courtyard, so they couldn't even hear me.
Oh, that's funny. Is that how we got the bouquet group?
Yeah, so I saw them out in the courtyard, and so I was trying to open up the doors, and one side of the door was always locked, and the other one was going the wrong way. So imagine me looking like someone who's trying to escape in a horror movie. And then also realizing that, oh no, these bouquet flower groups, they're going to dip at any moment. So further going like,
hurry.
Finally found one door that was unlocked. Poked my head out and was like, hey, do you like Love Live? And they're like, Love Live? Me, I like your bouquet group. Come here. And then I sold them on coming in. They went. And then I went back out, and I saw these three guys.
They were very fun to have.
They were great. They were energy makers.
Good energy.
Good vibes. And then I went back out. I bullied some Haikyuu cosplayers to come in. I tried.
Also great energy.
Yeah, it turns out they were friends with the bouquet group.
Perfect.
And that's why they joined the flower bouquet group's subunit.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And so then I go back outside. I was like, this is going to be the final, one more group is all I need. And I see my targets. I went and I was like, in the courtyard, I see the epitome of, Pip. Can you give me like 1 minute?
Is that the baby?
It is Pip. Can we do a quick pause?
Puppy break?
Yeah.
Puppy break,
let's go!
So, we were talking about how we facilitate...
Wait. Let me talk about my emo boys. Let me talk about the emo boys.
What? Oh, right, the milkmaid. So, you went out to go get one final group.
I went out to get the final group. They were in the courtyard. I look out, and it is the epitome of every middle school seeing kids dreamboat from the late 2000s, early 2010s. I look out and I'm like, I can fix them. I can fix them and I can turn them into school idols. Let's do it, baby. Like when I say the most scene in punk, it's just if you were on Tumblr, like the scene kid, bad boy crush concept where it's like facial piercings, all black head to toe. some tats, doing it all. The most. And I was just like,
The most. There's 3 of them.
Yeah, there's 3 of them. And each one I was just like, my parents would be disappointed if I introduced them to them, and I can fix them. But not long term.
It's song 18.
In the short term, I was just like... So I went outside, and immediately I knew this was going to be the hardest sell of my life.
How'd you do it?
I went up and I was like, you guys look like you got free time. They're like, yeah, me. What you want to do? Don't I answer, because I know what you want to do. And yes, by the way, this, if we were friends...
I can only imagine what's going through their heads.
Right? I was just like, how are we going to do this? Okay, let's go. I was like, I know exactly what you want to do. You want to follow me. What? And I was just like, hear me out. So, you'll do something that's super cringe, super dumb, but you'll have fun doing it. And no, it's not me. We're gonna go to a panel. I'm holding it with my best friend. And yes, this is over the top. Hear me out. You make friendship bracelets. Yes, I know, but we're not like other panels. Hear me out. You learn how to talk to people because, we're weebs, so we don't know how to talk to the common folk. And you find out about this weird niche subgenre of anime called idols. Met with dead silence. And I was like, I know. It's a very tempting offer. So let's go. Then, I was like, hear me out. If it's dumb, if it's too dumb, you have every right to leave. But if you don't, this will be the funniest bit and funniest story you can tell your friends all weekend. I'm like, okay.
That's a hard sell.
It was a hard sell. They followed through. They were my favorite idol group. And the best part was that after, when we were waiting for the shuttle back to the parking lot, we ran into them.
Yeah, they were coming back from a smoke break.
Surrounded by their friends that looked equally that I could fix them. And I was like, immediately, it's the Milkmaids! They're my favorite idol group!
And they cheered.
And they were like, I just did the dance for my friends. I was like, no way. Then, yeah, me. Do it right now. What? No, that's cringy. Do it right now.
You're like, I don't believe you. And they did it.
They did
it right then in the middle of a parking lot.
Get it, Milkmaids. My favorite...
They were great.
My favorite was the one that was the quiet one, and he was just like, we couldn't put our actual name on it because I don't think people would have approved of it, and now I'm just like, what innuendos could it have been?
You know what? I don't need to know. They know, and they had a good time.
They know, and they're Kokoro. The Milkmaids.
And then they did like a Hadouken.
Yeah.
As like their pose.
It was great. So great. I've easily found that those types are my favorite group in the starting today you are school in this panel, because it's the ones that don't want to commit, but then everyone else is, and they're like, okay.
Because then they would be cringy if they didn't commit.
Exactly. And then, I know at MomoCon, you had even told one group that, you would have them leave if not. So, and I remember...
At MomoCon, there was a group of, teenage boys who, were clearly there just to make fun of people.
Yeah.
And the moment that starts happening is the moment people get self-conscious. And the moment people get self-conscious is the moment this panel is no longer fun.
Right.
So I went up to them and I was very discreet. I did not make a scene. I didn't make a big deal. And I told them, you're either going to do this and you're going to have fun and you're going to commit, or you're going to leave. Make your choice.
And I had actually kept that
and they committed.
In mind. Yeah. But the thing was, because of that experience at MomoCon, I kept that in mind when we had them sit down. When we had the Milkmaids sit down and get everything ready, I had already come up with a pitch where it's just like, you do not have to take this seriously. If you are not creative, do do a variant of Green Day, Bowling for Soup, anything that's fun to you. Our scene heart, whatever your scene heart desires, you know.
Yeah, you don't have to do the idol like naming convention like the EP Dreamers, which I did love.
I think that's a very cute name, to be honest. But having something
they're great. I called myself an EP Dreamer today.
Oh, you're just an EP Dreamer.
Yeah.
Or like Bunniichii.
But being a school idol is about coming up with something that suits you.
It's about being true to yourself and following your dream and making friends along the way.
Your Kokoro.
Follow your Kokoro. We need that on a shirt.
No, they ended up being great.
Yeah.
I also appreciated when we were about to start the dance portion, the dad and this teenager who walked into the back.
Yes, the old white man.
And there's a water fountain there, and we called him out. And he broke out into some dad dance moves, and we were like, "Bro, you can stay and learn a little dance."
Yup.
And he was gonna stay for like 30 seconds and stay
the whole time. Stayed the whole time.
Did the dance.
Yes. No, I will say one thing.
Was awesome.
Oh, if anything, I'll say one thing about old men. Old men will either be grouches or they'll commit, and when they commit hard, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, they will commit harder than anyone else.
And after we danced for our lives, what happened? We did the RuPaul bit where we had to dance for our lives, to make sure that, you know, the school idol club isn't shut down. We had to.
Right, you impulsively, without warning anyone.
That's right.
Decided that my husband Michael and our friend Ben were the chairman and president of NDK University.
This whole
would single-handedly decide if our club got to stay open.
If no one has realized by now, all of our panels and a lot of the hijinks that we get into as friends is a lot of yes and. Our friendship is an improv class 24/7. But yes, thankfully, our friend, like, everyone just knew we were all on the same page, though we weren't. It was just me going for it, and then everyone committed, which was great. Who got on their knees first? Was it me or you?
You dropped to your knees.
I did.
And then some of the EP Dreamers did too, and they did the little like bow thing. So you started doing that, so I started doing that. And then according to Michael, there were people behind us. It was the Love Live group and the Love Live and HiQ group started like aggressively dancing for their lives.
I love it.
While making like silly crying faces.
Perfect. I very vividly remember going from please to onegaishimasu, making the most cringy, horrible, horrible, just, it's horrible, and I'm just like, onegaishimasu, just trying. And then it was, Michael and Ben just, like, turned to each other, whispering, and my favorite bit was just them not even saying anything.
Simultaneous thumbs up.
Yeah, and everyone, the whole crowd cheered.
Everyone started screaming. Like, literally, everyone cheered.
Literally, everyone cheered.
It's the meme.
The meme happened. We made it happen. Which, by the way, I love that bit. We need that bit to consistent. We need to keep that bit.
That's a good bit.
The bit is so good, we need to keep it. And now it's on audio. It's recorded.
Oh no. So we did our bits. Everyone had a good time. We thanked everyone, and then we immediately left the room.
Whee!
You changed clothes.
I did.
And then we threw you in the car and threw you in the airport.
Yay! And when I was at the airport, I saw a full Brony My Little Pony cosplay group. It's still in full cosplay, including wigs. They were also...
They are more powerful than I am.
They were still in, like, they checked in and went to and they were also on Southwest. So I saw them in the opposite terminal waiting area.
Oh, I love that.
They did not change out. I need this
Good
to be
for
known.
them.
They did not change out. And good for them. I am not the strongest soldier.
They are more powerful than
They
you
are they're too powerful. I don't know where they're going. They were not going to
and
Austin.
I don't know why.
I don't know why anymore.
Yeah. So that was
NDK.
Overall review, Maggie, 0 out of 10. What is it?
12.
Nice.
As you nice.
Rate your cosplays. How did you enjoy wearing them? Were they fun?
So I, as a quote-unquote veteran cosplayer...
I think Tamaki was a 10.
Tamaki was an 11, excuse you, and he will be coming back. I will say, though, that I enjoyed Miku a lot more than I thought I would. Though, to be fair, I was wearing a Liz Lisa skirt, so I am that bitch. But Vampire Miku was fun.
Yeah, you didn't wear anything. You didn't wear anything new this con.
Nope.
Only one costume was something you made.
Yep.
And I think you had a great time doing it.
Because I remember we had actively gone over this ahead of time, and we did talk about it during the weekend. Because I had been doing so many guesting and judging at conventions, I had just become completely burnt out for making cosplays. Now, keep in mind for our everyday viewer at home, or listener, technically. When you are a guest at a convention or a judge, you do not necessarily have to bring out a new build. You don't have to come out with like a new thing every single con. You don't have to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But as a smaller creative, and also as someone who is already trying to put my name out there to start promoting music, I felt this urgency to do so and to leave an impact on others. And because of that, I pushed myself way farther than I should have. So being creative with fabric and making something like that, it just lost the magic. And I'd also had a few negative experiences with some of the stuff that I'd worn recently where I was just like, I don't want to bring it back some of these things. I kind of just want to keep it low key. Either way, like ahead of time before we had come up with a lineup, I had already decided, you know what, 15 years of cosplay, bringing back Tamaki, still got the same fit, it still fits, let's go. So that one was fun, but like Miku, throw it together from what's in the closet, fantastic. And someone recognized me as Vampire Miku.
People thought you were cute.
I know, and I was so out of it that sometimes that I didn't hear people. So thank you for letting them know that I appreciated it. Someone gave me, what's it called? An ice pop. They had a blue one, my favorite flavor, blue. And that obviously was the cherry on top. Bunniichii, always fun. I think each time we do Bunniichii, it's really fun because we style it slightly differently. So it's a constantly evolving concept with finding subtle ways to change the design that helps keep it fresh.
I'm excited for our next secret.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait.
Bunniichii project.
Dude, I can't wait.
I have some ideas for trousers. I have some patterns that I'm going to throw at you and see what you think.
Sick. I'm so ready for that.
So
yeah,
Miku surprisingly awesome.
Yeah.
Tamaki 30 out of 10.
30 out of 10, and now I need, because that I took the blazer off during the horror panel, and I was like, Julie, look, I'm loosening the tie, I'm Constantine. Now I want to do Constantine. Help. Still so proud of that wig.
Constantine is DC, right?
See, when I say Constantine, I mean specifically the Keanu Reeves movie.
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves.
I feel like I could be Zatanna.
Okay, fine. I'll do Constantine from the comics.
Comics.
Is it DC or? Because I know Dark.
It's DC.
Yeah, DC. Okay. All right, let's do
DC.
it.
Constantine is DC.
Because I was like, I know that Dark Horse was publishing it at one point, but I forgot who the original was.
No, Constantine is DC because Marvel has Doctor Strange.
Yes. It's the
instead of Constantine.
Yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
But no, I had so much fun.
Artist Alley, rated out of 10.
13, because they had so much horror. 13 for the unlucky 13, and they had so many.
I know, we didn't.
There was Rule of Rose. We had this really cool ghost face stuff. There was all the things that Maggie likes. I think I spent more than you.
I know we didn't really. You did.
Which never
100%.
happens. That never happens.
I know we didn't really do the dealer's hall because we never do, but the boys did, and I think they would rate it a 30 out of 10.
Yeah.
They bought a lot. They went hard.
Wait, can I redo my rating?
Food,
can I do my
food
re-rating?
Is a 1 out of 10.
Can I do my re-rating for Artist Alley? 666.
Artist Alley, what are we rating?
666.
Okay.
Food?
Okay.
5.
1 out of 10. 5?
5.
We're not counting the food at my house.
Yeah, so we're not counting the food at your house. Food would be a 2, but the blue ice pop bumped it up 3 points.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, and it was free.
Staff said Vampire Miku, therefore excluding you, which I thought was funny. And then I got it for free.
What are we rating the staff?
100.
I'm rating the staff 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
Oh, by the way, here is a fun fact because we had mentioned that it felt like a very small con. I did some research and their website says with a total weekend attendance of more than 27,000 people, NDK is the largest and longest running anime convention in Colorado and 14 surrounding states, excluding Texas, as well as one of the top 20 largest anime conventions in the country. But it didn't feel like it. And I mean that in the most positive way in the world.
Absolutely. And I think that's the best part of it.
I think there were enough people at different panels and in different portions of the hotel that it never felt crowded.
I think both the hotel and the convention area itself was so large and everything was so spread out that no one was ever in the same place at the same time. So regardless on what day or what time.
I would like to put an asterisk there when you say spread out. It was not spread out in the way that MomoCon is spread out.
No.
MomoCon is, if you're staying in the hotel, it is a mile-long walk to get from your hotel to the dealer's hall. It was not spread out like that.
No. So it's like together, but not together.
Yeah, it's not.
We're doing COVID distancing.
Yeah, it's not squished.
It's just COVID distance.
Final thoughts, Maggie.
NDK was wonderful. It made me love conventions again. Had a wonderful time.
I'm excited.
Perfect way to celebrate my friend anniversary and cosplay anniversary, and I can't wait to go next year.
Yeah.
What about you, Julie?
I came home and made a list of costumes I want to make next year because this con got me manic in a positive way.
I like that now we have to add the asterisks.
I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the people. I had a very fun and very chilled time. In retrospect, I feel like a lot of our time at San Japan was us trying to find stuff to do to fill time because we were stuck there.
Yes.
But being able to go back to my house and just play a board game or a card game or hang out or watch a film, like we could enjoy the con and then go chill.
I think I would also like to add in something along those lines as well, though. With San Japan, since we had spent so much money, we had to validate the reason why we were there.
Right.
Validate the reason for spending.
We had to make every minute count.
Because, like, what? I remember, last year. How much were rooms last year?
Too much.
It was, like, almost 2,000?
Yeah.
Almost 2,000, and then you're easily spending at least another 500 if it's 2 people. On food alone.
Food, yeah. And then I flew in.
Yeah, and then so that's already solid 2,500 if you're not worrying about flying in or parking or finding someplace, you know. And then on top of that,
yeah, and
it's not
the money you're going to spend at the con.
And this also isn't putting it into the factor for the badge. Badges, like the badges for NDK, badges for NDK were cheaper than San Japan, even for pre-reg.
They were like $30.
Yeah, when
like at the door.
A large convention of that size shows that they're able to keep the cost low. To me, it just feels a lot. It feels less that I'm being taken advantage of from a financial standpoint.
The other thing to keep in mind is NDK is a charity event.
It's true, and I think that, you know, speaking of that, I think that might be one of the reasons why the vibes are different.
Yeah.
Different.
This
mindset.
Isn't a for-profit.
Yeah.
Con.
Yeah.
No, I totally agree. I think with how expensive San Japan is and how expensive MomoCon was and how expensive Hallmat was, we felt like we had to keep. I know we're throwing it back.
Well, I feel like we do have to talk about Hallmat at some point, just not.
Not right now. We'll talk about it next time.
But no, even for someone who flew
there's a lot to unpack in Hallmat.
Yeah. But even for someone like this was the NDK is the equivalent of your home con. So soon, within the next 3 years, it'll be my home con too. But
of course.
But as someone who flew in, I went through Southwest. I utilized their.
So let's do the math there. So rooms were $160 a night at the Gaylord.
Yeah.
So if you stayed 3 nights, that's what 300. No. 400. So
right under 500. We're gonna round it to a nice even 500.
Yeah. Perfect.
And then plane tickets, I think, because I took advantage of the Wanna Go Wednesdays, which was like a Southwest promotion. And so it was right under $100 for a plane to and back. So that's $600. And if if we were getting food there was actually quite a few easily accessible dining options around. So
because they had food trucks there all day.
Yeah.
They had 3 different locations in the hotel.
Yep. And there was places nearby.
You could easily just Uber somewhere.
Yeah. Even that is one and adding what I think I spent about $150, maybe $175 at the Artist Alley.
Yeah. Good for you.
Which, by the way, that never happens. So I was just like, ooh.
That is, even taking Artist Alley out, let's say $600 to come to this con.
Yeah.
That is a literal fraction. And I know that anything comparing 2 numbers is a fraction, but a literal fraction.
It's less than a third. It's less than a third of what you would pay to be at San Japan. And I solidly think San Japan is at this point now where it's not worthwhile going. Maybe go 1 year or 1 day if you're local to say, yeah, I went to San Japan, I experienced it. Okay. You know?
Yeah.
And it does sound like of a bitch thing to say, but I feel that I have the ability to say that as someone who has been going every year since the first year. Because most people
Except that 1 year you went to Dragon Con.
Except for the 1 year I went to Dragon Con, but that's a moot point. You're invalidating my experiences as a San Japan veteran. Excuse you. Anyways. But no, as someone who has seen it go from the ground up, it's so far removed from what it used to be and what it should be. It just feels like it's devolving. And while you keep spending more and more money. And I'd say the same goes for its organization. I don't know what goes on behind the scenes. I've interacted with some of the people that work on it, at Kawacon. But just everything seems that there's no communication, there's no communication, no working together. The lack of caring for a community, I'd say. It's just more about how can we milk every last dime from them.
Mm-hmm.
And as someone who's punk and likes to stick it to the man is against corporate capitalism, that just don't sit right with me, Chief.
Anyway, friendship with San Japan ended. Friendship with NDK is now.
I think I'm going to propose to NDK next year. Let's make it exclusive.
Perfect. I
Yeah.
think that's the right decision. We gotta lock her down.
Right? Lock her down. I will be the chain. What is it? What is it that the straight people say? The ball and chain?
Yes, the ball and chain.
I will be the ball and chain for NDK.
Oh my gosh. Well, I think it's suffice to say we loved NDK.
NDK!
I'm going back next year, obviously, which means you have to come back.
Obviously.
I hope we get to run our idol panel again.
Obviously. And I hope to run my horror panel again, hopefully.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yay.
Well, I think that about sums up all of our ideas. My laptop is dying. So I think that's our exit.
All right. Jules? Wait.
What an ending.
What? How do we end this? Should I just do a hard cut?
My laptop's dying. Tell us. I think we end it with that. My laptop's dying. Goodbye.
And hard cut.